with regard to obtaining loans from wealthy relatives or friends, here are at least 3 of the ways that you might end up ruining mom and dad's life if you borrow the money from mom or dad or a best friend. One is personal guarantees. Many times you go to the bank for a loan and they say, we're sorry, but you're young and you don't have much of a credit track record, you don't have many assets, and your startup business is a risky business. We will not loan you the money for your startup business unless you can come to us with someone who has much better credit and a better financial history and more assets, like maybe your mom or your dad, and they are willing to sign a personal guarantee of your loan. I have seen many older people whose lives have been ruined because they wanted to help out their son or their daughter, and they signed a personal guarantee for a loan for the son or the daughter so they could start up a new business. And the loan might have been for $80,000 or $200,000 or $300,000. If you're a parent and your child comes and asks you to sign a personal guarantee for a loan, as a lawyer, my strongest recommendation to you is that you don't ever do that. And don't do it for a friend either. But if, because you feel compelled, it's your child, then don't sign a personal guarantee for a larger amount of money than you can afford to lose and still have a financial future. Don't sign a personal guarantee for something so large that if your son or your daughter fails at the business, you end up losing your home or being bankrupted or forced into bankruptcy. You may have the brightest and most successful son or daughter in the world, and so you feel confident that if you loan them money to start a business, they will be successful in that business. But they could have a heart attack or get hit by a bus tomorrow, and the business fails, no matter how good, how brilliant they were at business. So don't sign personal guarantees unless it's for an amount of money that you can afford to lose. Okay, second way, you go to dad and you say, Dad, I've scraped together all the money that I can get, and I've only got $100,000. I need $150,000 more, and then I've got enough money to have my dream and start my own business. Will you loan me $150,000? And Dad says, wow, we believe in you, we love you, we want you to succeed, but $150,000, we just don't have that. The only way we could get that was if we borrowed it out of our retirement fund. And, we wouldn't mind loaning you the money from our retirement fund if we could be sure that your business was going to succeed, or that if the business failed, we'd at least get our money back. Is there anything else you can do or say that would make us feel a little bit more confident about the risk you're asking us to take? And you say, oh yeah, for this business, I'm going to have to buy a giant computer server. And that server is going to cost $200,000. And what I can do is I can pledge that server as collateral for your $150,000 loan to me. And if my business fails, you can repossess the server and you can sell the server and you'll get your money back. So Dad says, well, you're going to pledge a $200,000 value asset as collateral for the loan, so that if the business fails, I get the server and I sell that and I get the money back that we loaned you. You know what, that sounds less risky. Okay, we're going to do it. So, you sign a promissory note to your dad. He loans you the money, which he borrows out of his retirement account. And you start the business and you're doing well for 6 months or a year. And then something goes terribly wrong. There's a pandemic or something, and the business falls apart. You go broke and you have to file bankruptcy. Well, your dad drives down to the office where the big computer, with his truck, where the big $200,000 computer server is stored, and he goes in there to pick up the server to sell it to recover his unrepaid $150,000 loan. But when he gets there, the bankruptcy trustee is there also. And the bankruptcy trustee says, what are you doing here? And he says, well, I have a lien on the server, and I'm here to pick that up and sell it to get the repayment of my loan. And the trustee says, well, hold on a minute. I need to see your paperwork. And you say, what paperwork? So, well, I need to see all the paperwork that shows that you are a properly perfected secured creditor as of a date that's prior to the date of your son's bankruptcy filing. Because the law puts me in the position, me, the bankruptcy trustee, I'm in the position of a properly perfected secured creditor as of the date of your son's bankruptcy filing. And if your paperwork doesn't precede mine, I get the server and I will sell it and I will distribute the money to all the creditors, and you will not get any of it. You will not get the server. You may get a few cents on the dollar instead when I distribute the money out to all the creditors. So your dad says, well, what paperwork do you want to see? I got a promissory note here, and I even got a security agreement where my son says he pledges the collateral, pledges the server as collateral for the loan. And the trustee says, well, where's your UCC1 financing statement? And your dad says, what's that? He says, well, you have to have three things to be a properly perfected secured creditor. You have to have a written promissory note, signed and dated, a security agreement, that's a paper that assigns the asset as collateral for the loan, and then you have to have filed a Uniform Commercial Code financing statement with the Secretary of State's office giving notice to the world that you have a lien on this asset. And if you did not do that, you are not a properly perfected secured creditor. And the dad says, wow, I don't have one of those. The trustee says, well, I'm sorry, but the server's mine, and you're just out of luck. So your dad loses his $150,000 loan, and he doesn't get to collect and sell the $200,000 asset that was pledged as collateral. Instead, the bankruptcy trustee gets it. You may have just ruined Dad's life. So find out what the sacred trinity of secured financing is, what it takes to be a properly perfected secured creditor. And we're going to go over that once again when we get to the banking section of this class. The third way that you might ruin Dad's life is you say to Dad, just loan me $50,000. I don't have any collateral for the loan, but if you loan me $50,000 to start my business, I will pay you back at $500 a month and 6% interest, and you'll help me realize my lifelong dream of having my own business. And Dad says, okay, if I lose the $50,000, it's going to hurt, but I can afford to lose that, so I'm going to loan you the $50,000. So you do that loan transaction just on a handshake, because it's just father and son. You don't need formal paperwork. Dad writes you a check for $50,000, you deposit it in the business account, and you start the business. And every month, you do pretty well for the first year or so, and every month when you count up all the profits, you send your dad a check for $500, which is the monthly payment on the loan, the $100,000 loan. So everything goes good until some terrible downturn in the economy, like a pandemic, occurs, and the business goes broke, and you're forced to file bankruptcy again. And this time, you got other unhappy, well, let's say you didn't file bankruptcy because that would have stopped your creditors. Let's just say you go broke and you're trying to fight off the creditors, and they give up on suing you because they see you don't have any assets. But they're unhappy, unpaid creditors, and they're looking all around for who else they can sue, and they look into your financial records and your books, and they see, hey, this is interesting. Your dad put in $50,000 into the initial startup capital of this company. And he's been receiving a share of the profits of the company every month. He's been receiving $500 a month. You know, a person who puts in a portion of the startup capital in a business venture and who shares in the profits, that's the definition of a partner. Your dad's been a general partner in this business, and general partners are liable for 100% of the debts of the business. So we're going to sue your dad now for all of the debt that you haven't repaid. We're going to sue your dad personally as a general partner in this business. And you say, wait a minute. No, Dad was never a partner in this business. He just loaned me that $50,000, and those $500 a month payments, those were just payments on the loan. And the unhappy unpaid creditor says, oh yeah, show me the written promissory note. Show me an entry in your books or anywhere else that shows that that was a payment on a loan. Because to us, what it looks like is he put in $50,000 worth of the startup capital like a partner would do. And since that time, he has shared in the profits every month like a partner would do. So we see him as a partner, and we're going to sue him as a general partner, and we're going to sue him for all of the unpaid debt of the business. And you may have just ruined Dad's life. Not only does he lose his $50,000, but he gets sued for the other $1 million worth of unpaid debt that's owed to the other creditors. So if you are going to take a loan from a father or a mother or a loved one, make sure you document it with the proper paperwork showing that it is a promissory note that's owed, it's a loan, and the payments that are made are payments on a loan and not shares of profit to a partner. Okay?